Howdy, everyone. Frankie here, New West Reset. Hello, how's it going? Welcome back, and thank you very much once again for joining me here for another live one. New West Reset Live, episode 160 here today. Sunday, March the 1st, 2026. Can you believe it's March already? Wow. Wowee. Just a little bit, just a scotch, a titch, a tad, just a tad past 5 p.m. local time. That's mountain time, of course, because as always, we're coming at you live from the foothills of the Canadian Rocky Mountains, right here in Calgary, Alberta, Purdy, Alberta. That's up in Canada land there, eh, buddy? Thank you for winding down your weekend here with yours truly. Beautiful day here today, +6 Celsius still right now. It's about 40, almost 45 Fahrenheit ish, give or take. Not bad. Not bad, not bad. So for today's show, it's another installment of the Pedestrian Oblivion series, this time the Austrian Pedestrian Oblivion, here on the 160th episode of the live show. So basically, this evening's show brings us back to electric trams or streetcar, trolleys, whatever you want to call them. So the streetcars, the pedestrians, the bicycles, and horses and buggies, traffic everywhere. It's chaotic. And Vienna, Austria is no different. This is from 1906, so we're going to have a look at that here in a little bit. I've said it once, I'll say it again with this series. It's almost as if folks don't know how to avoid the traffic. Look out, Klaus. Look out, Heinrich. Achtung, Heinrich. Achtung. Das ist Traffic Czar. I don't know how to speak German. Anyway, thank you very, very much for being here. Appreciate it as always. If you haven't already, please do all the things to help a fellow out, like, subscribe, share. If you're watching this after the live, thank you very much. Maybe leave a guy a comment. Thank you to everybody who's already shared and subscribed. Appreciate that. Check and make sure you're still subscribed to not only my channel here, but all your favorite channels. YouTube's changed things up on how notifications work, or more accurately, how they don't work. I've heard a lot of people just aren't getting notifications in their feeds and stuff. So yeah, just make sure that everything's, just keep checking the channels that you watch. It's easy for me because every Wednesday, Thursday, or every, I'm saying it's easy and I'm making it hard by saying the wrong days and confusing. Every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, I upload. Wednesday and Friday, you get a video, and of course, Sunday, the live show. So that's easy to remember. Anyway, thank you very much for winding down your weekend here on the Sunday Funday Show. Woo! Woo! As mentioned, it's a lovely day out today. I got the window open. I was actually out earlier today doing some boots on the ground on a location or two. So that's going to be coming up Friday. So as per usual, keep your peepers peeled for that. Let's see here. Links below for everything that we're going to cover. If you're not able to access those links, I did put a couple of the links already in the chat or in the box. And throughout the live, Hippie Shake is going to be sharing those links as well. Make sure that you get access to them because I'm in trouble with the HooTubes. I'm in HooTube detention. So as a result, there's just some funny stuff going on here with the channel. You may not be able to access all links and click on them so that they open up to what we're talking about tonight. But anyway, that said, links below if you are able to get at them. And as I mentioned, Hippie's going to post them in the chat. So thank you very much to Hippie. Speaking of chat and Hippie and in the box, let's say howdy to everybody here and see how everyone's doing, see what's going on, what's happening. Channel 53 is here. Howdy. Hello. Good to see you. There's Cousin Vinny over here, Unfreemason. Says, hey, everybody. Just dropping in to say hi. Off to celebrate Mrs. Cousin Vinny's birthday. Have a good one. Well, well, would you look at that, eh? Well, happy birthday to Mrs. Cousin Vinny. 29 years young. 29 years young today. I don't know how many years in a row she's 29 years young, but quiet out there, magpie. Trying to do a show here. What are you making noise about? It? Sorry about that. The window's open because it's lovely. There's a magpie just perched out there, just squawking, just giving her. Anyway, thank you for being here, Cousin Vinny, for popping in and saying hello. Enjoy your dinner out. Where you going? Are you going for Italian food? You going to get some Italian food over here? Cousin Vinny?
So, Tommy, where have you been, huh? I've been watching Newest Reset. Huh? Oh, you know, it's Newest Reset. It's this thing on YouTube. He goes around, he does his boots on the ground thing. I'll tell you.
Water the tree is here. That's Ross, everybody. Good to see you, Ross. Howdy. Kathy Broughton. Hello, hello. Kathy Broughton in the box. Stephanie is here. Babylon Fox in the box. Hello. Good to see you. Howdy, Chassis. Chassis Nix is here. There's KJ. Kinley Jackson. Happy weekend to you. Hello. There's Teresa Gregory. Hi, Terry. Hello. Good to see you. Hope everybody's enjoying their weekend so far. Everything's going all right and going swimmingly. Howdy, hippie. I have had a good week. Thank you very much. Hope you had a good week as well and everything's going all right for you and yours. Things are settled down a bit for you there, hippie, hopefully. Catching up on some rest. Even though it's like, what, 1 a.m. over there right now? So thank you very much, hippie. Appreciate you as always. Good to see all of you here. There's Martin over on Rumble. Yes, that's right. Because as always, broadcasting simultaneously live on YouTubes and Bumble. So thank you for being here. Howdy, everybody on YouTube and on the Rumble. Dragon Sage is here. Howdy, Sage. Good to see you. Our old friend, Old World Michigan, is in the box as well. There's Russ. Good to see you. Hi, Magpie. Hello, Frankie. Yeah. Dang, magpies. Dr. Bass Ackwards. Howdy, howdy. Ah, it's 12 there. 12. Midnight. So as mentioned for the show, Pedestrian Oblivion, this time Austria. Vienna, Austria, 1906. So I thought what we'd do is we'd quickly look into Vienna. We'll have a quick look on the Wikipedia, see what the official his story is on Vienna. We'll just peruse it real quick because I'm sure with a city like Vienna and how old they say it is and whatnot, there's a vast history. And I mean, we're going to look for interesting stuff and see if we can poke some holes in the official narrative as regards to Vienna. But I've also got a link down there how we can really just look into the trams or the trolley system in Vienna. And then we're going to we'll take a look at the video footage I have. Basically, much like the rest in this series of Pedestrian Oblivion here on the live show. It's footage taken from the driver's perspective on the tram or the trolley, the streetcar, whatever you want to call it. They mount the camera right there, and they head down the tracks, and there's people, vehicles, horses, buggies, kids, dogs, bicycles, whipping in and out of traffic. It's hair-raising, to say the least. So we'll have a look at that. We'll take a mid-show break. And as always, I'll give you a sneak peek at your upcoming midweek Wednesday's video, vintage footage. And then when we come back, I've got a couple of dozen photos, a nice size file here of some beautiful, beautiful photographs of Vienna, Austria from the late 19th century. So once again, thank you very much for joining me. I hope you're doing well. I had a pretty good week. It was a busy week. So I'm very, very happy to spend my favorite day of the week, Sunday fun day with all of you. Thank you very, very much. Couple of housekeeping. Couple of housekeeping duties here real quick for the channel. Got some more bad news today. It's just been a string of bad news. They say everything comes in threes, good news or bad news. This is the third. or the third, however you want to. Hello, Meltological. Greetings and salutations to you. Thank you for shooting in. The third notice that I've gotten of bad news is I was communicating in the last couple of days with our friend Chris at Old World Exploration. You know, we're just trying to hammer down a date and a time for our Knucklehead show that we try to do every month or two, where we look at different Canadian cities and do a deep dive. We're kicking around the idea of doing Fredericton, New Brunswick. But upon talking with him behind the scenes, emails and texts and whatnot, our communique, he revealed to me that he also got a copyright strike for my Reset 1700 mudflood documentary. Now, I can understand the claimant facilitating, shall we say, a copyright strike for my channel. But Chris's, he was just rebroadcasting my documentary on his channel. He had me on a live stream on his channel as a guest. And he was basically just trying to help a guy out. Chris and I are friends. And he was just trying to help me out with getting some more eyes on my documentary. He watched it, he enjoyed it, and he wanted to present it to some of his viewers who may not be hip to what's going on over here on my channel. But anyways, that live stream got struck down and he got a copyright strike, which is terrible. And I feel really bad about it. I mean, it's one thing that I got the strike and I'm in YouTube detention, but I mean, it's stupid. Anyways, I wasn't going to fight the copyright strike that I received, but I damn sure as hell am going to fight the copyright strike that Chris at Old World Exploration received, because it's not his fault. So I want to quickly share with you, I've already sent an email to the contact who actually initiated the copyright strike. It's a law firm that's representing what is it? Extreme Weather LLC or some BS crap like that. Anyways, let me show you here real quick, fast and in a hurry, and then we'll get on with things. So yeah, he let me know that, he got a strike, and of course they took down his live stream that had my documentary on it. So I typed up this email: to whom it may concern, please consider removing your copyright claim and strike on Old World Exploration's YouTube channel regarding the Reset 1700 video. Old World Exploration did not create the Reset 1700 video. He only had me on his channel as a guest so that I could showcase the documentary with his audience. Old World Exploration is in no way responsible for the content or portion of any content that may be in the aforementioned video. In all fairness, it's a bit of an overreach to penalize one channel for another's content. Do you not agree? Your timely response is appreciated in advance. Then I put here's his channel address to avoid delays and or confusion. And once again, the reference video in question is Reset 1700 Mudflood documentary with the original URL that was taken down on my channel and his. And again, I wasn't going to bother fighting the copyright on my channel because, as mentioned, I'm just going to re-edit the thing, and I'm going to re-upload it as a director's cut with some additional footage and edited footage, deleted scenes, put back in. I'm going to George Lucas the thing, but I'm going to try not to overdo it like George Lucas did. But with that said, there's no reason why Chris Kelly over at Old World Exploration, the nicest guy in our community, by the way, a sweetheart of a man. He's big like Bigfoot. He's like 6'4" and like 240 or 50 pounds or something like that. But he's a gentle giant. He's a sweetheart of a man, and he's a friend of mine. And I felt terrible about this. It didn't even occur to me that when I got the strike that he would get it too. I mean, we watched a few minutes of it, and then he would pause it and we would discuss, and then we'd watch a few more minutes, pause, discuss. So it's not like it was just played entirely through. So I don't understand what the problem is with this bloody claimant, but he's got a hard on for busting people's balls here on the YouTubes. And it's Global Weather Productions LLC is who the copyright strike was filed on behalf of. I looked a little bit into Global Weather Productions LLC, and apparently they're famous for just suing people or having stuff copyright stricken on YouTube. That's their thing. They're like it's some kind of legal firm, but they're basically a bunch of damned ambulance chasers. So hopefully this gets rectified, because again, there's no way that Chris should be punished for something that's it's content and a project that I worked on my channel. It's nothing to do with him or his content. It's stupid. Yeah, Global Weather Productions LLC. Water the tree. Ross says sounds suspicious. Yeah. Yeah, it is all because of the dirty dollar. I need a dollar. Dollar is what I need. I need a dollar. Dollar is what I need. These MFs, I'm telling you, man, and I don't mean my friend. I'm talking about these MFs. Yeah, I mean, Chris is a great guy. He's a huge influence on a lot of smaller channels, or even just people in general that they don't even start a channel. They just, they get out there, they get inspired to get out there and take photos or video in their areas, and they send it to him or other channels behind the scenes. So, yeah. Yeah, he did, Baja. Howdy, Baja. He's asking, did Old World Exploration take a hit because of 1700? Yeah, unfortunately, that is the case. But I'm working on it. Kathy Broughton says you need to fight your strike too. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually, once I get it, the new version, Reset 1700, redo the director's cut. Once I get that done, which I've been working on here and there, I'm going to have a relaunch and another watch party. And then once that's up and everything's hunky-dory, then I think I am actually going to revisit perhaps fighting the strike that I received. If not for anything else, just to have it on record. Initially, I didn't fight it because I don't want to be too much under the magnifying glass and scrutinized any more than I already am. But I mean, I've been shadow banned for about 4 or 5 years anyways, so it's not like my channel can be any more negatively affected. So, I mean, it is what it is. What's got burr under my saddle is Chris getting in trouble for something that, that's my content. So I don't think that's fair at all. So, yeah, I mean, exactly right. Hippie says, I agree. Chris should not be punished for that at all. Yeah, no good deed goes unpunished. Yeah, here he is just trying to help me out, and then he gets his pee-pee slapped by the YouTubes. I sent him a message saying, I'm really sorry about that, and I've already filed a counterclaim, grievance, yada yada, the whole bit. And he says, you don't have to do that, because I mean he understands it is what it is with YouTube, but no, man, I feel bad, And the thought didn't even occur to me. Otherwise, I would have reached out to him right away and said, hey, put that in private mode or something so that he doesn't get the ding. So, but yeah, that's unfortunate. But with that said, as I just talked about a second ago, I am working on the director's cut of Reset 1700, that mudflood documentary. So when that, I'm going to try to get that up, get it finished and get it up through the spring so it's up ready for summer once again. And then, like I said, I'll do it as another live watch party, and we can all get together and hang out and watch it and, just have a good time. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I mean? All right, we're having a good time.
All right, with that said, that's enough of that business. And again, my apologies to Chris, Old World Exploration. It's not his fault. It's not his fault at all. Lord of the Here and How. Howdy. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. All right, so I thought what we would do first here is have a look at what the Wikipedia says, just for the official history of Vienna itself. I can't imagine that there's people out there that do not know where Vienna is, but just in case, we'll have a look at Vienna, Austria here, just to see what Wacky says about it. So here we are, Vienna, or Wien. I don't know. That's how you say it in Austrian, I guess, or German. What do they speak in Austria? They speak a dialect of German, or is it just known as Austrian? I think it's German, but I'm not sure. Sprechen Sie Deutsch? Nein, sprechen Sie Deutsch. Anyways, it's not to be confused with Vienna. Sure, okay, whatever. Vienna, or German. See, Wayne, I should have just read further. Austro-Bavarian, Wien, is the capital, most populous city, and one of the 9 states of Austria. It is Austria's primate city. Not primate as in monkey, but primate as in it's the city that's largest in its country, province, state, or region, and disproportionately larger than any others in the urban hierarchy. Okay. So it has nothing to do with bananas, chimps, anything like that. Anyways, with just over 2 million inhabitants, its larger metropolitan area has a population of nearly 2.9 million, representing nearly 1/3 of the country's population. Vienna is the cultural, economic, and political center of the country, the 5th largest city by population in the European Union, and the most populous of the cities on the river Danube. I always see pictures and videos of those cruises that cruise the Danube. You know, you go on like a 2-week cruise or a 1-week-long cruise or whatever. Those always look beautiful. Can't say I would be tremendously jazzed about being jammed into a cruise ship with a bunch of strangers that pick their nose and then go to the all-you-can-eat buffet and grab with their hands. People that sneeze and cough all over the food. You know, you always hear about these cruise ships coming down with botulism or, I don't know, all kinds of wacky stuff. But anyway, the city lies on the eastern edge of the Vienna woods, yada, yada, yada. Okay, fine. Here we go. The Romans founded a castrum, Latin term used during the Roman Republic for a military camp, okay, at Vienna, which they called Vindobona in the 1st century, when the region belonged to the province of Pannonia. Okay. It was elevated to a municipality. The Roman city writes in the year 212. This was followed by a time in the sphere of influence of the Lombards and later the Pannonian Avars, when Slavs formed the majority, blah, 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 8th century. Okay. So they can go back with such accuracy to years like the year 212. But then when you're looking for, schematics or blueprints of a Capitol building up in Edmonton, Alberta, none can be found. And that thing was only built, 120 years ago or whatever they say. So it's amazing on one hand how they can be so detailed at certain years, but then, jump ahead to slightly more modern times, 1900s. And, we lost those in a fire or whatever. Okay, so throughout the modern era, Vienna has been among the largest German-speaking cities in the world. It was the largest in the 18th and 19th centuries, peaking at 2 million, yada, yada. Berlin, sure, okay. Etymology, sure. History, here we go. Roman period, first military camp. At its peak, Vindobona had a population of around 15,000 people. It was part of a trade and communications network across the empire. Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius may have passed away here in the year 180 AD during a against the Marcomanni. I don't know who that is. Who is that? They're Germanic people. Okay. After a Germanic invasion in the 2nd century, the city was rebuilt, served as the seat of the Roman government until the 5th century when the population fled due to the Huns' invasion of Pannonia. The city was abandoned for several centuries. So everybody just upped and left it for a couple of 100 years. And then they came back and just rebuilt it. Really? See, it's little gaps, 100 years there, a couple of 100 years here, that they mess around with the official timeline, I think. You know, there's roughly 1,000 years, give or take, that has been added to the timeline in order to accommodate a lot of their official narrative and cockamamie, jackassy stories. You know, the usual stuff that makes us kind of scratch our heads and
shenanigans.
Yeah, just called shenanigans. So yeah, they just 24/7 programming. You got that right. Middle Ages, Irish Benedictine monks established monastic settlements in the 12th century. Evidence of these connections includes the Schottenstift, or Scots Abbey in Vienna, originally home to a community of Irish monks. In 976, Leopold I of Babenberg was appointed Margrave of the Eastern March. Sounds super fascinating and extra fancy, but I have no idea what it is. Sounds like some kind of fancy made-up crap, doesn't it?
Ooh la 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 la.
The Austrian Empire in early 20th century, in 1804, during the Napoleonic conflicts, Vienna became the capital of the newly formed Austrian Empire. The city continued to play a major role in European and world politics, including hosting the Congress of Vienna in 1814 through to 1815. Well, if it's hosted in Vienna, then I would imagine it is called the Congress of Vienna. They wouldn't call it the Congress of Vienna if it was held in Brussels, would they? Probably not. The city also saw major uprisings against the Habsburg rule in 1848. Yes, of course, the famous Habsburg family. These were suppressed. Yeah, well, that's what happens when you go against official monarch. They're going to try to put their jackboots on your neck. After the Austro-Hungarian Compromise of 1867, Vienna remained the capital of what became the Austro-Hungarian Empire. The city functioned as a center of classical music, for which the title of the first Viennese school is sometimes applied. In the latter half of the 19th century, Vienna developed what had previously been the bastions and glacis into the Ringstraße, a new boulevard surrounding the historical town and a major prestige project. Former suburbs were incorporated, and the city of Vienna grew dramatically in 1918 after WW1. Vienna became the capital of the Republic of German Austria, and then in 1919, the First Republic of Austria. And you get into a bunch of civil conflicts, and of course, WW Deuce, so on and so forth. There's a couple of photos we can quickly peekaboo at here as well before we move on. I mean, it is a beautiful city. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Look at that. Lovely. Oh my. Got enough little bobules and doodads on that thing there? Holy smokes. Have mercy. The State Opera. Just the opera house. Nothing to see here. It's fine. My. Will you look at that? curved building. Yeah, because that's easy. Real easy to do. There's Belvedere Palace. Oh, Belvedere! Of course, you got to have different birds with crests. Bunch of different flags. Rampant lion. All kinds of crazy symbology going on here. What's this? A raven stealing somebody's engagement ring. Yeah, they like shiny things, I guess. Maybe it's that damn magpie that was outside squawking earlier. There's the Star Fort, or the Bastion, as they would call it. I would agree, Teresa. Absolutely beautiful opera house. Revolutionaries in Vienna, 1848. Oof. Karl Marx Hof. Building and symbol of Red Vienna. Yeah, yikes. Brutalist. Commie Pinko architecture. Crap. Palace of Justice burning, 1927. Oof. The mustachioed man, of course. Photo in 1966. Even with all the modern hustle and bustle, just absolutely beautiful. The heck's this thing here? Some kind of fountain or something? Wow. Just built out beyond comprehension. All right, that's enough of that. So that's Vienna, Austria. Let's quickly have a look at the tram system, or the streetcar system in Vienna, and see what's going on with that here. Kimmy Jackson says, I've been listening, but cooking took precedence, not like the schmutz. Yeah, cooking takes precedence. You guys got to eat, right? It's 5:30 my time. That's usually as soon as I go off the air from the live show. I got to get some food in me, because it's 7 p.m. my time, generally, give or take. So let's see what this says here. The Wikipedia has to say, real quick, fast, in a hurry here. In terms of trams, the trolley or streetcar system, trams in Vienna. They're a vital part of the public transport system in Vienna, capital city of Austria. It opened since 1865. Super early on in the historical narrative, with the completion of a 2-kilometer or 1.2 mile route to industrial estates near Simmering. It reached its maximum extent of 292 clicks, or 181.4 miles, in 1942. In February 2015, it was the 5th largest tram network in the world, at about 227.4 clicks, or 141 miles in total length, and 1,146 stations. Trams on the network run on a standard gauge track since 1897. They have been powered by electricity at 600 volts of direct current. So they went electric in 1897. It's been up and running since 1865. So they used another method for 32 years before going electric, I guess. Current operator of the network is Weiner Linien. Okay, sure. In 2024, a total of 291.8 million passengers traveled on the network's trams. As of 2013, there were 525 tram cars in Vienna's fleet, including 404 trams or tram sets scheduled for service during peak periods, comprising 215 single cars and 189 motor and trailer sets. Oh, of course, here we go. History right out of the gates, if you pardon the pun. Horse car tramways. Trams built by horses. To me, or not built by, excuse me, trams pulled by horses. But I guess partially built by them because any construction materials to build the trams would have been brought on site by horse and buggy. So the poor horses had to haul everything to build the trams, and then they were stuck pulling the trams around. So they got double screwed. Double screwed. So the earliest precursor of the Vienna tramway network was the Bridgetnauer Eisenbahn, a horse-car tramway from 1840 to 1842. It led from Donaukanal to the recreational establishment known as the Colosseum at the end of Jagerstrabe. Okay. But here it was 1865, but here they're saying 1840. So some 2 decades later, several firms competed for a concession to construct an urban. Oh, okay. So it was started, and then it just changed hands. By October 1865, trams could be recorded as operating between Schottentor and Ernals. And on April 24th, 1866, the route was extended to Dornbach. It says subsequently, municipality of Vienna tried to persuade other firms to construction. Okay, so they were basically just trying to get a bunch of different companies to run different sections of tramway. Social, okay, why though? However, due to difficult conditions, all of the competing firms arranged a merger, leaving the newly formed Wiener Tramway Gesellschaft as the only remaining firm. In the later years, that firm built the majority of the Vienna tramway network. The social conditions were nevertheless such that labor disputes arose. Oh, of course, always with the labor disputes. In 1872, the New Wiener Tramway Gesellschaft was formed as a competitor, but was able to build only a network in the suburbs. So it's already a bunch of hornswoggle and all kinds of crazy cockamamie, muddied. I don't know. They always muddy the waters, right? So you're goofy sentences and wacky, spotty history. But meanwhile, they could go back to the year 212 for some stuff.
I think I can smell shite. Yes, I can definitely smell shite.
The steam tramways. Here we go. In 1883, the Dampf Tramway, Klaus and Company, opened Vienna's first steam tramway line between Heitzing and Perchtoldsdorf. In 1887, the line was extended further south to Modling and towards the city center in Gaudensdorf, and a new branch that led to Ober St. Viet. Further line of national significance was opened in 1886. From that place to that place with trams connected, yada, yada, yada. Okay. So little bits and pieces here and there. So they started with horse. They did like Chicago. They started with horses pulling the streetcar trolleys. Then they went to a steam system. And then they went electric. So at the turn of the 20th century, Vienna's Bürgermeister Karl Lueger began the municipalization of urban services, which until then had been supplied by private enterprises. In 1899, by a proclamation issued by Minister Heinrich von Wittel, the municipality received a 90-year concession from the Imperial Railway Ministry for a, quote, network of standard gauge light railway lines in Vienna to be operated by electric power, unquote. The 99 lines or sections explicitly identified in the proclamation included new lines and the purchase of network of the Wiener Tramway Gesellschaft, the employees of which were to be taken on as far as possible by the city. So again, just more mergers. Lines were integrated April 4th, 1902 into the company register in 1903. The network of the new Wiener tramway was also purchased. What's this? We're jumping back again here. On January 28th, 1897, an electric tram operated for the first time in Vienna on the tracks of today's Line 5. With their lower noise and odor production compared with the horse-drawn and steam tramways, the electric trams quickly became favorites. You see, smooth, quiet and easy, luxurious ride. Why they ever phased out electric municipal railways, only to later on most cities bring them back again. They phased them out in the 40s and 50s. Then they bring them back in the 80s, 90s, 2000s. As some like fantastical new idea. Hey, these trains can get you further and faster than a diesel bus can. You know, these diesel buses can only go so fast so far. But these trams, these electric municipal railways, they'll just shoot you right through the city. Why don't we build some of those? Yeah, we already had them, dum-dums. It was, you know, obviously it was preferred, and they quickly became the favorite. On June 26, 1903, the last horse tramway was ceremoniously farewelled. In 1907, the line designations still valid today using numbers and letters were introduced. Steam tramway was able to continue operating its services until 1922 on a few branch lines in the outer suburbs. Well into the second half of the 20th century, Viennese frequently referred to the electrified tram as die elektrisch. Elektrisch? The electric. Die elektrisch. So, much like Chicago, where they had the horse, then steam, and then electric tramways, they were basically, at one point, all three methods were overlapping. So you would have an electric and steam-driven trams, but also still horse-drawn trams being pulled around the city. Talk about chaos and confusion. Holy moly. Up until 1910, the only trams delivered to the Vienna tramway network were vehicles with unglazed platforms or cabs, i.e., without any windscreens protecting occupants from the cold and wind. Oh, they were open cars, yes. This was still in the tradition of the horse cars, on which direct contact of the driver with the harnesses of horses was required. It took until 1930 until the cabs and platforms of all tram cars, had protective glass. In 1911, the first double stops were introduced. During WW1, tram operations were increasingly difficult to perform. Sure. What else here? With Germany's Third Reich, the tramway network was changed on 19th of September 1938 from left-hand traffic to right-hand traffic. During WW2, tram operations continued for as long as Vienna remained spared from the conflict. Its peak haulage on the then still extensive route network was almost 732 million passengers in 1943. Wow. Anyways, and then it goes on to tell you a little bit about the post-WW2 tramways. Let's have a look at the Wikipedia photos here. Oh my. A tramway strike. So they bust out the windows and tip over the cars. This poor horse is just a kicking in a bucket. That's what you do during tramway strikes, is it? 1889, eh? Ooh, look at that shot. View towards the city center with tram in 1908. Look at this. And of course, cobblestone or brick streets, as far as the eye can see. Wouldn't expect anything less, I imagine. Howdy, Bradley. Good to see you. Says, late. Will rewatch. Well, thank you for being here. No apologies necessary. I know it's frustrating when the notifications aren't working. Scott Pike in the box. Good to see you. He says everything was here. Yeah, seems so. Seems like a lot of times these old systems were actually pre-reset systems. They were just dusted off, reverse engineered, fixed up, and go back running again. That's why you have cars that look exactly like this, but with horses pulling them. Then eventually they phase out the horses and the cars don't change for another decade or two until they finally start putting glass and windows in them. It's just more retrofitting, in my opinion. It's one of the older trains still in service. Pretty nice. A little bit of a more modern Type L in the 1950s. Got some brutalist modern stuff here, but you still have some old world beauty all over the place. Four tram generations. Interesting. Oh, look at this with a snowplow in the front. We don't even have those here. They just use regular plows to plow the streets and tracks, and then the tram or trolley can go through. But that's a more efficient way to do it. It's all in one piece of equipment. All kinds of different looking. Oh, this thing's funny looking. It's a lowrider. Hey, Holmes, you want to check out my lowrider tram? Orale, vato. I don't know why I'm doing a Mexican accent for Vienna, Austria, but look at this beauty here with the dome and all the statues up here. Some of them, I'm going to admit, are kind of cool, streamlined, old-timey looking, but some of the more modern ones, I'm not going to lie, they're kind of fugly. Like, this is ugly as sin, man. Oof. Especially when you compare it to the beauty in the background. Look at how glorious and eye-appealing this is, and then you just got this big, looks like something made out of Lego. What we got here? Suburban horse car tram, 1885. Just packing them in like sardines. Sorry, lady, you're going to have to wait with your dog. This one's full. And back to the tipping of the tram. So yeah, there you go. Just a quick overview. The history of Vienna and their tramway system. Nothing short of surprising. I should say I'm not surprised with all the shenanigans. Boss says old school strike breakers were kind of whack. Yeah, we're just going to smash up everything and tip everything over and damage everything. It's kind of like the mostly peaceful protests of years past down there in the good old US of A. You know, just setting fires and destroying public and private property, but it's mostly peaceful. Anyways, moving along here. Before we get into the video itself, and before we take a quick mid-show break, we're going to look at photos after the break, but I quickly wanted to just... Actually, no, I'll save it for after the break. I was going to say I'll get into who this photographer is who took these photos, but we'll do that after the break. I think we're all chomping at the bit, if you pardon the horse-related pun here. We're all chomping at the bit to see some of this footage. Excuse me, I'm just having a sip of my coffee here. Cheers to you. So what do you say? I'll cue that up here. And again, this is Vienna, Austria from 1906. I think what I will do is how I usually do it up here for the show. So I'll cue it up and kind of play through and just kind of pause it and comment and add my own 2 cents worth as we go through this thing. And of course, as always, feel free to point to anything else you see there in the comments, in the box, in the chat. And the reason why I like to kind of play it through and pause it is because of 2 reasons. And there's 2 reasons why I love these old videos where they mount the camera right on the streetcar trolley tram car itself as it's running along. You get to see from sort of at that level. And again, you see how people behave, right? It's almost as if they don't know how to look out for these trains or trolleys and the traffic. They're just wandering in front without looking. But also just looking at all the buildings and everything in the background as the thing's making its way down the streets, you know? So without further ado, let's get into this. Let me roll the tape here. And as per your suggestions from the last Pedestrian Oblivion, I added some music, some quiet music in the background here. So it's not just, you know, a silent video. Anyway, let's get going here. Now, there's not much footage. There's only about 6 minutes of it, but we can have a little bit of fun with pausing it. And again, this is from 1906. Nerdy thing. It's technically chomping the bit. Just got adjusted over there. Oh, I said chomping at the bit. Yeah, chomping the bit. Makes sense. He's right out of the gates. We see we're what, 5 seconds into the film, and this horse and buggy just taking its time, just trotting diagonally across in front of the bloody tram. Get going there, Hans. Not a care in the world, you know. Just clippity-clopping. This guy right here just strolling in front. Look out, man. And then this guy's working on something. I don't know if he's making a repair. He's laying some stones or bricks. He's doing something. But meanwhile, the trolley's coming at him, and he's completely oblivious, totally unaware of what's barreling down at him. And if you watch closely here, his supervisor, you know, because that's how, even back then, how the city workers, you know, that's how they did their thing, right? Is you had one guy working and 2 guys watching. All 3 of them are getting paid to do the job, but only one's actually doing the real work. But one of them's got to basically tap the guy on the shoulder and say, say, man, there's a train coming at you. Look out, man. Look out, Hans. Achtung, Franz. Right here. Hey, come on, man. Not a better example than right there of complete oblivion. Howdy, Odin. Odin's Raven says it was his first day with the new horse. Yeah, that guy just diagonally, slowly cutting across. Yeah, just taking my new horse out for a test drive, day 1 here. Thank you very much, Hippie. Hippie says beautiful music and fantastic footage. Yes, Johann Sebastian Strauss. Might as well have a Viennese concerto to accompany us with these NPC oblivious ladies and gentlemen here. See, at least that lady with the umbrella was running. She's at least running across the street. Mind you, she does run in front of one tram and then runs in front of another. But at least she's not just strolling like not a care in the world. See, at least she's got a little bit of get up and go. Look how beautiful everything is, too. Neat, tidy, no litter, no garbage or crap around anywhere. The buildings are just absolutely glorious. Columns and big, massive arched doorways everywhere you look. Statues up on everything. Everybody dressed nicely. Even the light fixtures and lamp posts and everything. Glorious. And obviously, with this being 1906, as you can see, we're at the electric stage here. There's no longer any horse-drawn and no longer any steam. But again, at one point, all three did overlap for a short time period, you know. Baja says, think if the world was as overpopulated as it is now with this kind of chaos. Oh, yeah, could you imagine? Russ says, well, this is what influencers did in the 1930s. Well, yeah. Well, close enough. 1906, but I get where you're coming from. Yeah, just mount this camera like one of these old cameras here. Mounted on a tripod, a wooden tripod and all that, and just you have to hand crank the cameras and the whole bit. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Bradley Johnson says, just like a couple of weeks ago when the freaking steamroller was just cruising down the street and the guy was just casually walking. Yeah, there was a couple of steamrollers cruising by and the guy was just taking his sweet time walking down the middle of the road with like 3 steamrollers coming up behind him. Look at all the streets, even the side streets. I mean, we're on a main boulevard of some sort here, but even the side streets you can see paved with, I don't know, paver bricks or cobblestone. I think I see a horse-drawn vehicle there in the distance. Just roll it back a couple seconds here. Yeah, there's a horse pulling something just coming into the intersection there. I'm not sure if that's a trolley or an omnibus. I don't know if it's stuck on the tracks or if it's just like a larger, carriage that seats multiple passengers. So we at 1906, we might still have just a little bit left of center frame there, a horse pulling a trolley. I mean, I think that idea is so ridiculous that I actually put it on a t-shirt, a picture of 2 horses pulling a trolley in Toronto in like, I don't know, 1910 or something, with the word shenanigans emblazoned across the top of it because, come on, man, let's face it. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of. Yeah, that could very well be a horse-drawn tram in the back there. Might be an omnibus. It's hard to see. The wheels on the omnibus were a bit larger in circumference. They weren't as small as the trolley wheels, but they weren't quite as large as, horse and carriage or stagecoach wagon wheels, for lack of a better term. They were sort of halfway in between those sizes. So it's kind of hard to tell. Baja says, surprised there's not lots of plops everywhere. Yeah, road apples, we call them around these here parts, my friend. Road apples. Pasture of Castles, howdy. Pasture agrees, says exactly, Baja. Too clean in general. Yeah, well, they would actually have street sweepers that would go around with a dustbin on wheels, and they would pull it around like a dustbin on a cart, and they would just, you know, sweep up the manure. And then that manure would be reused, of course, right? It would be used as compost, city parks or city gardens, and so on. Oh, yeah, you would need dozens of people working. And I would imagine that they would probably just hop on and off of some of the trams, and make their way up and down whatever streets they were assigned to maintain or to keep clean. Comes another horse-drawn vehicle there and another one there. Those actually might still be trams. Nope, that's an omnibus. Or is it? There's so much going on right here that it's hard to tell what's what. Just roll it back again. Just coming up to this intersection, and just coming into the frame on the left is two horses pulling something, and then coming in on the right frame are two horses pulling something. I can't tell if they're on tracks or not, though. It looks like they are not on tracks. The thing that says Kunerol, Kunerol, that is an omnibus. But I believe the other one in the background going the other direction is a tram, because it's larger, and I think the two horses are pulling two tram cars. Oh, I see what okay. In the foreground is an omnibus. And just behind it is a trolley, an electric trolley. I can now see the electric bracket on the top. So you have a horse and buggy, right where the man is standing. There's the horse and buggy. Then there's the omnibus. You can see the back wheel is actually a little larger than the front wheel, and it's not on the tracks, but there's several passengers inside. So it's a horse-drawn bus, basically. And then in behind that is the electric trolley. Okay. Man, that was confusing. See what I mean? Just complete chaos. That's a good point. Pastor of Castle says no street vendors in that time period. Big empty buildings. All the blinds on the bus. Yeah, they can pull down the shades. The trams and the omnibuses would have, shades that you could draw. Sometimes they would have actual curtains. That's, once they actually put the glass windows in the darn things. Baja saying black suits on everyone. Well, it looks like everybody's wearing black, but from 35 plus years in the men's clothing business, I can tell you that black fabric dye is one of the most expensive fabric dyes, because to make black, you have to mix about 5 or 6 other colored fabric dyes to get black. That's why when you hold it up to really, really bright light, it's not a true black. It might look super dark red or super dark green or really, really dark blue. But in just natural sunlight, it looks black. And that's how you get the black dye. But, I've seen fabric swatches for companies that were weaving fabric for men's clothing going back to the 1850s. And you had charcoal gray, you had light gray, medium gray, you had browns, you had royal blues and darker navy blues. You had a lot of different textures too, herringbone textures, all kinds of different worsteds and woven sort of textures to the fabrics. Methodological saying, I'm watching this guy walk straight into the path of traffic. Got to be AI. Well, as far as I can tell, this is not AI because I hate AI. I refuse to do or associate with anything to do with my channel with AI. I try to, as best as I can determine, use for not only these Pedestrian Oblivion videos in these series, to use the actual original raw footage that hasn't been speed adjusted or color adjusted or anything like that. But even in the Wednesday's vintage footage videos, when I upload old videos, just edited together with some music, I try to use the raw footage, or at least as best as I can determine as raw footage. So I don't think it's so much as this is AI, so much as these people are just still completely unaware of the dangers of the traffic as these people get moved into these larger urban areas. They get, released from some asylum, and there you go. We'll just set you loose in one of the largest cities in Europe, buddy, and just try to make it happen there, buddy. Nobody tells them watch out for traffic. Look at the detail of that light pole in the foreground here. And then as we're passing, look at the next couple of them coming up. You can see the tops of, I'm just going to assume they're electric lights. But look how beautifully decorated and how ornate they are. Yeah, I agree, hippie. And again, the tree-lined streets, everything's neat and tidy. Although, again, I'm still not seeing any food vendors or anything like that. We're seeing a few what look like publication vendors, maybe newspaper stands or book stands. Kinley Jackson says, I feel all this was acting for a camera. I mean, there could be. I mean, people were aware that the camera's there as the thing is approaching, right? And they look up at the approaching tram or trolley. They can see that there's a camera in the front where the driver would stand. Next to him is, a guy operating and cranking the camera. And I'm sure public notices were posted probably, a couple of days before, notifying the public that, hey, Edison or whoever is going to be here filming our tram system. So you might have it that people have come out just to stand and watch the tram go by with the film camera taking the film. Because let's not forget, 1906, film technology for the public was still very, very new technology, and not everybody was privy to going to the theater to watch silent movie reels. Most people were still going to live theater or the opera houses. I mean, shit, why the hell wouldn't you go to the opera house in Vienna, Austria? We saw how beautiful the thing was. But I could definitely, to your point, Kinley, I could definitely see where some people might want to dress up really nice and just stand on the street side or at one of the trolley or tram stations, or even get on and ride the trolley wearing their Sunday best, for lack of a better term, so that they can get on camera, because it is, we take it for granted, right? Because it's all of our devices, all of our personal devices all have some kind of camera on them. But back then it was such a novel thing for moving pictures. I mean, film cameras, like still cameras, like these old things, they've been around since, the the general public to be able to walk into a store and buy one, 1860s, 1870s. But this was still new, cutting edge tech, supposedly. Oh, is it Mozart I'm playing? Oh, so it's not Johann Sebastian Strauss. My mistake. I'm not too up on the classical music. I enjoy some classical, but I don't get ankles deep into it like I do blues music. Thank you for that, Babylon Fox. Yeah, he was. He was from Austria. Perhaps Vienna. Yeah, could be. The mustachioed man. The Austrian painter. So you can see a couple of people seem to be looking both ways before they cross the street, but the majority of people are not. They're just giving her, bud. Come hell or high water, I'm just stepping out into the street. Traffic be damned. Again, all the pattern of all the stone or brickwork in the streets, because a lot of as you can see, a lot of the track lines curve as they move through intersections and so on. So they've got to cut and place all that brick to match those curves. And again, look how wide the streets are. I mean, you've got room for modern jumbo jets to land in these streets, man. We've got 2 lanes of trolley tram track, and then we've got, it looks like 4 lanes of vehicular traffic in terms of horses and buggies. 2 going this direction and 2 coming back the other direction. So 6-lane road coming down here with a median in the middle for the tram station or tram stops, the lampposts. Oh, there's a pile of crud. Couple of piles of crud there, people. That's the first 2 piles of crud I think we've seen in the entire video so far. Don't know what that is. Some kind of refuse. Don't know if they've shoveled all the horse manure into one pile and then they're coming by just to get it all in one big load. I do not know. But there they are. First 2 piles of crud in the otherwise fairly immaculate, it's safe to say, streets and sidewalks of Vienna in 1906. The people are more messed in the head than in terms of the roads and streets and sidewalks being messy. Dragon Sage with the poop emoji, and Scott in there with the very, very timely comment. Oh crap! Pardon the pun. Again, look at the buildings in the background. Absolutely gorgeous. Not seeing any construction projects in the background anywhere. But not really seeing a lot of derelict, rundown structures either. Oh, look, we got some more fools just standing in the track. Track maintenance guys with no fear. Get out of the way, Heinrich. That massive structure in the background on the right with the big dome on it. What in a Sam Steel is that thing? No idea. Hello, Mr. Pete. I am Mr. Pete in the box. He says steaming piles are running this country. Well, there's, like the steaming piles that are on the side of the road there. Dragon Sage says the road is huge. It's friggin' huge. Exactly. KJ says my heart races every time someone crosses the tracks. Yeah, they're just not looking. It seems to me like they're not looking for traffic, and they're also not walking at a brisk enough pace that it seems like they're even aware of the fact that they're in danger. Like, look out there, man. You're going to get hit by a horse and buggy, a guy on a bike, a trolley, an omnibus, something. Yeah, there you go. When I said you could land a modern jumbo jet down the street, but yeah, Kathy, more to the point, you could land an airship. There you go. And yeah, good point, Ross. Ross, Water the Tree says, look at that fountain right there in the center of your frame. Absolutely exquisite. Absolutely exquisite. Yeah, that's right. Sage Dragon Sage says Zeppelin parking only. So far, the worst offenders are the guys that maintain the track. Coming up here to the end, about 30 seconds left. As the tram pulls up to a little stop here. You can see there's just a couple of children, 4, 5, maybe 6 years old. They're just to the right of center frame, just hanging out by themselves, unsupervised by any parent or adult or guardian. Nope, just a couple of boys in their lederhosen and culottes, just playing by the train tracks with trams coming to and fro. What are those kids doing there? No idea. Get out of the road there, Sven. I'm running out of German names to think of. Heinrich and Sven. So there you go, a little bit of Austrian pedestrian Oblivion. 1906, Vienna, Austria, where it's just between the streetcars, the pedestrians, bicycles, traffic, and people, it's just chaotic. And now you know what I'm saying. If this is the first time you've seen this, one of these videos in the series, the Pedestrian Oblivion series, just no concern for self-preservation. I'm not even going to bother to look both ways before I step off this sidewalk into that 6-lane traffic busy street. No, I'm just walking. Tempting fate, I guess. Sheesh. So I hope you enjoyed that. Very, yeah. Heart skips a beat or two. I get anxious. I get frantic when I see stuff like that. Especially when there's kids and dogs running around in the streets too. And you're like, isn't there an adult to grab that kid by the arm and pull him back on the sidewalk and say, Achtung! Das ist ein Chuchu kommen, or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, what are we at here? 1 hour and 20 minutes already. A guy's just been blathering away. So I think right now, while we're still in the viewing old footage mode, perfect time here to take a mid-show break and give you a sneak peek at your upcoming midweek vintage footage. If you're new to the channel, first of all, welcome. Thank you very much for joining in here with, all of the
shenanigans.
I appreciate you. But also as a reminder, if you've been around for a while, every Wednesday I upload a video, what I call vintage footage video. It goes up midnight Mountain Time every Wednesday. And in that, I try to find the old original raw footage, black and white. The older the better. And I put it to music. And I put that up Wednesday. Friday, boots on the ground video. That goes up midnight Mountain Time as well every Friday. And then back here Sunday, 5 p.m. Mountain Time for the live show. And that's where you get the sneak peek of your upcoming midweek. This time is no different. And we're going to stay in Europe for this one, actually. But we're jumping out of Vienna, Austria. And we're going to go to Italy for this old one. This is old Roman ruins from 1925. So it's a little bit further on in the modern timeline from 1906 Vienna, 1925. But if you look, all the familiar, famous old structures like the Colosseum and so on and so forth and whatnot are still in complete ruins. And here we are already, 1925. So this is 4 minutes, 15 seconds. And again, this is old Roman ruins, 1925. It's a good one. Smoke them if you got them. I've got a nice instrumental blues to go along with this one. So maybe put your ear goggles on, put your head cans on, turn her up to 11 there, bud. And we'll see you on the other side of 4 minutes and 15 seconds. All right? Thanks, everyone. Stick around. I'll be right back. Cheers. All right, and we are back. Welcome back, everyone. Frankie here, New West Reset. Hello, how's it going? Thank you very much for joining me here for another one, another live one, as a matter of fact. New West Reset Live, episode 160 here today, Sunday, March the 1st, 2026. Coming up on 6:30 p.m. local time, mountain time. Still a beautiful day here in Calgary, Alberta, up in Canada land there, buddy. Plus 5 degrees Celsius. That's about 42 Fahrenheit. Not bad considering last week it was minus 30 Celsius. So terrific. So thank you very much for joining me, and thanks for winding down your weekend here with yours truly on the Sunday Fun Day Show. If you haven't already, please do all the things to help a fellow out, thumbs up or thumbs down. It's fine. I'm not going to toss and turn and cry on my pillow. Thank you to everybody who's already shared, subscribed, and all that good stuff. Appreciate it. What'd you think of that? Kind of bluesy, jazzy with a little bit of a kind of a psych feel to it. Mo Sampson's here. Good to see you, Mo. Says groovy guitar. I would agree with that. Channel 53 says, got that tone. Buried on rhythm setting using front pickup only on a 335 Gibson. If I was to guess, it's beyond me. Sounds technically advanced for a fella like me that just blows into a harmonica once in a while. Stephanie's here, Babylon Fox in the box. She says, this sounds kind of like some jazz riffing on Nights in White Satin. Yeah, it kind of had a familiar sort of a medley to it, didn't it? Far Tree in the box. Howdy, howdy. Good to see you. Dragon Sage is here. 88 Fingers Frankie. There's Ross at Water the Tree. Hello, hello. Good to see you there, bud. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining me. Scott Pike is here. Baja is here. Hippie Shake sharing the links. Thank you very much, Hippie. Appreciate you, as always. Got KJ, Kinley Jackson in the box. Kathy Broughton is here. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Appreciate it, as always. Hey, look, there's Morgan. Good to see you, Morgan. All right, so at the top half of the show, we had a look a little bit at Vienna in terms of what Wikipedia is telling us, and then the history of the tram system in Vienna, again, just by the Wikipedia. I put those links in at the very beginning of the show up in the chat. And as mentioned, Hippie's been sharing the links for all of that, so they should be in the chat as well. So I've got a folder here of some beautiful photos of Vienna, Austria from the late 19th century. But before we look at those, they were taken by this here fella. So I'm going to just quickly pull him up on the Wikipedia. This is Joseph Joachim, Joachim. Anyway. Oops, I'm sharing the wrong thing. There we go. It's like amateur hour around here. My apologies.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Anyway, so this is Joseph, I'm going to just say Joachim, because I don't know how to say it. So he was born June 28th, 1831, and he passed on August 15th, 1907. He was a Hungarian violinist, conductor, composer, and teacher who made an international career based in Hanover and Berlin. Close collaborator of Johannes Brahms, he is widely regarded as one of the most distinguished violinists of the 19th century. Studied violin early, beginning in Buda, the Buda side of Budapest in Hungary. At the age of 5. It's always 5 when these guys start violin or harpsichord or piano, isn't it? Then in Vienna and Leipzig, Made his debut in London in 1844, playing Ludwig von Beethoven's Violin Concerto with Felix Mendelssohn conducting. Returned to London many times throughout his life after years of teaching at the Leipzig Conservatory, playing principal violinist of the Gewandhausorchester. Yikes, that's a mouthful. He moved to Weimar in 1848. Trying to remember why I bookmarked this guy. He's not a photographer. Budapest, London Philharmonic debut. Beethoven and bear with me here as I scroll through. Had correspondence with Brahms. Married a stage actress in 1863. On Good Friday, April 10th, 1868, he and his wife joined their friend Johannes Brahms in celebration of one of Brahms' greatest triumphs, the first complete performance of German Requiem. Okay. Honors and Jubilees. Oxford and Cambridge Musical Club in 1899. Yeah, I'm not sure why I bookmarked this guy to have to do with photography. He's just a composer. And he didn't compose the aforementioned music that we were listening to. So, yeah, I don't know. I screwed up. I'm not sure what that was all about. It'll come to me afterwards what the significance of that cat was with all of that. But that said, I don't know. Sorry about that. Probably. Scott Pike asking if that guy is a Freemason. Probably, yeah, more than likely. Probably. He's got the hair for playing the violin, says Kathy. Yeah, they always have that same crazy haircut with that super sharp side part where it looks like it was parted with an axe. They've got that Frederick Douglass part in their hair. You can't miss that part. Parted that with 3 combs. Anyway, yeah, I'm not. Yeah, it'll come to me after I sleep. I'll wake up at 4 in the morning just yelling out whatever reason it was for that guy. Maybe that's something I'm working on for another show. I don't know. I don't think it is. Anyway, be that as it may, let me open up the photo file here for you. And again, these are going to be Vienna, Austria, from the late 19th century. And I thought that fellow was the photographer, but he's not. So I don't know what I was doing. But these are some fantastic photos. There's actually, I found a few lithographs as well that predate the photographs. So we'll have a look at the lithographs first, and then we'll get into some of these beautiful photographs. It's not a huge file. There's only a couple of dozen, so we'll be able to breeze through it nicely, I think. Let me just get this going here for you. So let me just back it up to the beginning of the file. Excuse me, because I wanted to share this that I grabbed. This is the center of Vienna map, and you can definitely see it's very Starfordish. It looks like maybe there's been some monkeying around with it, and you can even see remnants of what could potentially have been an even larger structure at one point. But I mean, we can definitely see here, this is Bastion Fort, they'll call it, Star Fort. Whether it's oddly shaped or not, Star Fort is a Star Fort is a Star Fort. So this is Vienna circa 1840 lithograph. Let's see. Spires and domes all over the place. They're just lousy with them here in Vienna. But there's the level of tech that we have to accomplish all of these massive. So even these buildings, 1, 2, 3, at least 3 or 4 stories. Big, massive domes, more domes, more domes. But, you know, just a simple agrarian peoples. All right. This is Graben, Vienna, 1839 lithograph. Even in what we're told is a very early time period. Everything is clean. I mean, you get some dogs fighting in the streets, but it's just an artist's conception or an artist's interpretation. But looking very clean. Got some kind of public fountain or water feature here. We've got the, what are these called? Ballasts, balustrades, ballasts, pylons like things with the chain. So I guess your horse and buggy doesn't come crashing in here to get a drink. I don't know. Josephsplatz, Vienna, 1839. It's like old world printer or something. What's going on with the ground here? Why is it all janky? Kind of looks mud flooded. I mean, everything looks mud flooded. Scott Pike's got it right there. Yeah, here. Rendition. Thank you. I was having a mental hiccup. Leopoldstadt from the Friedrichsbrücke, circa 1842. Look at this interesting thing. I believe the overwhelming majority of these buildings that we're looking at in these lithographs, but then later in the old photos, the overwhelming majority still stand, still exist. But even this bridge, look how wide it is. And then they've got a promenade or a sidewalk on either side, and then room enough for opposing lanes of traffic with a median down the middle, which with what I'm going to guess is gas lighting at this point, right? 1842. Some kind of angled walkway. It doesn't look like stairs going down to the next level down here. So we've got multiple levels of streets. Mason-lined canal systems. Just complete infrastructure, seemingly without a problem. St. Stephen's Cathedral in Vienna, 1840. Yeah, I think we saw a photo of this on the Wikipedia prior to the break. With all these little nodes and bobules and doodads all over it. Because you need all that for a church. What function do these serve? These little bumps and nodes. The historians, the quote-unquote professionals, the learned scholars and historians and archaeologists, architects, all that would say, oh, well, that was just to pay tribute and homage to the glory of the Creator, to God. But at the same time, we're also told that people were living hand to mouth, and it was tough times, even in glorious cities like Vienna. You know, people were scratching out a living, entire families living in 1 or 2 rooms. So it's the juxtaposition of the multiple narratives. That would make a little bit more sense to me, actually, Antennas to God, more so than just extra work and craftsmanship, which equals extra time, extra money. Therefore, more potential for somebody to fall and break their neck, get you behind work schedule, get you behind schedule on completion date, all of that, just for extra fanciness, right? Anyways, let's get into some of the photos here. I'm not sure. If these are vendors, they look like vendors. This could be sort of a market square. No, it's a plaza. It's Vienna. Look at all this nonsense up here. I'm just noticing. Come on, man. And all this. I mean, it's not enough to have a massive arched doorway with all of these embellishments that, you know, these 5'6" to 6 foot tall people can see. But I mean, just all of this up here. And this. And this. What are these doing? What are these for? It's not on a church, so you can't say, well, it's to the glory of the Lord. So what are they? Oh, we just have all this extra money to piss away on frivolous decorations that serve no purpose on our buildings just to show, hey, everybody, look what I can do. I thought everybody was having a hard time scrubbing two Deutschmarks together at this point. You can see the vendors aren't looking like they're rolling in the dough. I mean, it's exquisite, but it makes me scratch my head. Something going on here. Some kind of pile of, I don't know, dirt or something, and then some stones. Some more stuff going on here. Doesn't look like it's cold enough to be snow. Austria does get snow. Vienna would get snow, but there's leaves on the trees. So it's not winter. So I don't know what this is. Some debris of some kind. Some kind of construction materials, maybe. Maybe they're fixing to lay the cobblestone or the bricks. I don't know. But here you've got a horse-drawn trolley. Another one. Another one. There's an omnibus. This is just absolutely fantastic. Look at all this. Look at all the plants, the shrubbery and whatnot on these balconies here. Much better than awnings and painted signs, don't you think? It just keeps going on and on and on and on. Exquisite, man. Exquisite. Look at this thing. Look at it. Like a wide promenade, or the street is, not to mention here, this is, what is this, all sidewalk? This is all for pedestrian. This big wide space. It's like they had resources, money, time, and space to spare. Look at how lovely this is. You've got a nice tree here with, I don't know, I'm going to guess this is flowers or some kind of little bushes or something. It's just beautiful, man. And then the big wide, you know, again, you got 2 lanes for trolleys and enough for 2 lanes here, a lane here, a lane here. It's like when they planned out the city and built it back in the Starfort days, that it's almost like they knew that we're going to need wide streets for all the upcoming tech that hasn't been invented yet. Yeah, right, Morgan. All for walking. All this just for walking. Exquisite. Some kind of memorial of some guy. Pardon my Canadian naivete. Oh, I just got a couple of castles here. That's fine. Or maybe it's all one structure. I don't know. But definitely looking very castle-like. And again, all this cobblestone or brick, the patterns that they have to follow for the curves in the road and the curves in the tram lines. That ain't easy. It's almost like a traffic circle, but it's squared off on this end, it looks like. Unbelievable. I agree with you, Mo. Mo Sampson scratching his head saying, imagine what it took to build all that. It makes no bloody sense. Yeah. Bradley Johnson's, yeah, he's saying that's like they had amazing foresight. Yeah, we better build it wide now before the trams and trolleys and cars are invented. Look at this. They've already got a giant Ferris wheel here. Late 19th century. They do have electric here. Can't tell if that's a herringbone pattern or not, but either way, it's just immaculate. It's just so labor intensive. And again, this is the sidewalk here, people. How much you want to bet that the street goes from here to here now in modern times, and it's just a narrower sidewalk? Unbelievable. This is Der Graben. This cafe here, right by this fountain. Imagine just sitting right here, just amongst all of this eye-popping beauty, enjoying yourself a coffee or a tea or whatever. You've got this fountain here with this lion's head spewing out some water. You've got whoever this person is. Must have been something to behold, I tell you. Joseph something or other's something. Okay. Look at this. What are these things? What are these bells or something? What is that? They look like little bells. Am I crazy? Or do these look like little bells? Pardon the piccolation here. It's getting pickolated as I zoom in too much, but these look like bells to me. What the hell is this? They've monkeyed around with these buildings already at this point, but there's still a lot of the original beauty just everywhere, like up here, where, you know, these folks can't see it and appreciate it, but they did it anyway. Look at this. Maximilian Plaza. Looking kind of stumpy or mud flooded, right? Like you've got all of this really tall, angular nonsense going on with this huge arch and all of this, but then it looks like it should go down another 20 feet. You know, like this just seems stumpy. Disproportionately so. But either way, you know, I'm sure we've all seen this cathedral before with the pattern in the slate roof and all of this. And the big rose window, cymatic pattern, just exquisite. And then again, all the nodes, all the little bobules all over it. I wonder what this building is. Is this to go down into the underground? Is this a public lavatory? I mean, I guess it could be a tram or a trolley station. There's definitely somebody going in, you know, inside the place here. There's another one here. Look at this. I just noticed this nonsense too. Come on. Wow. I just don't even know. I'm running out of ways to explain what I'm seeing here.
I mean, it's obvious. I don't mean I was staring at them, but I can't exactly control which direction my eyes go in all the time.
Not to mention all of the landscaping, like just what it would take for the upkeep of all of this. And imagine this in glorious real life color too, right? Like all the shades of greens and golds and grays and slate blues and whatever these were painted. This is just magnificent. And again, not a lot of crud or crap in the streets. Once in a while we see a pile of debris, but that seems to be it. I think what happens is, yeah, you do get some crap or litter or whatever, and they pile it up in a little pile, and somebody comes along with a horse and cart and shovels it into the back and hauls it away, you know? Another angle of this, I think it's a public market of some sort. I can't quite make that out. Yeah, I'm just going to paint the name of my business right on this old world roof with these dormers. Idiots. This is nonsense that we do. I'm just going to paint my name right on the roof there. Morons. Yeah, this looks like an open farmer's market, flea market, swap meet, car boot sale, however you want to refer to these things. You could just go and you can get some fruit, veg, some whatever you need. Looks delicious. And then you've got all this deliciousness in the background. What a time it must have been, man. What a time. Sig Sauer's here. Good to see you, bud. Howdy, howdy. Yes, the schmutz. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble making that out as well, but I think it names the area or maybe the street. I thought these kids were added in, but no, seems legit. You got a restaurant here. Imagine, there you go. You go to the restaurant, you could sit al fresco, right, outdoors, and just, this is, I don't know, is this the Danube? Pardon, again, my Canadian sheltered life here, but looks like it. I mean, you've got some kind of sea vessels going by. You got this doohickey, whatever that does. Look at this bridge with this sort of crest or coat of arms on it. And then again, as far as the eye can see, just beautiful. But who did all this? How long did this take to do? This is clearly not a river. This is clearly a canal, a man-manipulated waterway. Between all the cobblestones, all the bricks, all of the stone here, and then all of this, like, what in the Sam Steel are we talking about? And then they just decorate every little thing because they have time and money to do that. But then at the same time, they'll tell us, oh, the populations of these cities back then were like 100,000 or 50,000 or barely a million. And look at this. Come on, man. Look how gorgeous with fountains and all these buildings and then just all of this in the background. Man, do I ever want to go to this place. The Volksgarten. The People's Garden. Again, big wide sidewalks. I mean, and then there's streets going over here, over here, over here. It's just, what's going on buried in these trees, hidden in here? I'd love to get boots on the ground. My boots on the ground over here. Wow, impressive. Kursalon and Stadtpark. So whatever a Kursalon is. Kursalon? I don't know what that is. Whatever it means, it's absolutely magnificent. Get out of the way, you sketchy buggers. We're trying to admire the arches and capitals on these columns and just the extravagant workmanship, the tech, the statuary. This guy's the only guy that's actually hard at it. Nice work, Hans. You're doing a fine job. It looks beautiful. Das ist wunderbar. Oh, that's fine. It's just a city park. Nothing too extravagant. Right. We could only wish we had city parks that look like this today. Franz Joseph Qual. Okay. I don't speak German. Nein, sprechen Sie Deutsch. Don't know what that means, but look at this funny little thing. What's this? It's a little doodad on it, even. Even a tiny little thing like that's got to have this big whatever on it. Again, the canal, just the beauty. And then looking beyond the magnificent beauty of the architecture, now you've got the mountains, the beautiful mountains in the background. Just when you think your brain couldn't input any more beauty, it's just everywhere.
Ooh la 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 la.
Now, this photo has definitely been manipulated. They added this lady with, I broke both my arms because they're not supposed to bend this way. You'll be fine there, Gertrude. They've added in all of these, I think. So maybe this is being prepped for a postcard because they vanilla skied everything out of here, painted in some clouds and sky, but then they drew in some, they drew in some crummy building back here. Then they added in all these people. And this wagon with no horse. I guess the guy wasn't good at painting or drawing horses because there's wagons everywhere and people everywhere, but not a horse to be found. I'm sorry, boss. I cannot draw the horsey. I can only draw und people. Vienna, 1898. This is the Nord Bahnhof. Whatever that means, it's absolutely exquisite. Look at this. And this. This is that castle-looking place that we saw in another photo or whatever. Man. And a lot of these were in that video that we watched, too. The 6 minutes of Vienna from 1906. Look at this nonsense, man. Arches and all kinds. Every square inch. We got to put something on it. Even if it's a little cap on these little, whatever these are. We got to put something on everything. Got to put some curly cues on our light standards in the streets. We got to stack it a brick like a madman and just get silly with it. Just for shits and giggles, people. Absolutely beautiful. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, the previous one. Yeah, it kind of does look like a Monty. But you're just waiting for a giant foot to come down and splatter everybody. PCS World is here. Howdy, howdy. Good to see you, bud. You know, it could be Mr. Pete. Mr. Pete says the only toilet in town might be what these little buildings are. They could be public. We call them restrooms or washrooms here in Canada land. The toilet, the public toilet. Canadians think the word toilet is rude, so we don't ask, excuse me, where's the toilet? We say, where's your restroom or your washroom? Why, do you need a rest and to wash up? No, I just got to take a crap. But we don't say that because it's rude and off-putting, you see. So we got to say washroom or restroom. So there you go, a little bit of the late 19th century Vienna, Austria. Man, oh man. Sight to behold. And again, links in the box, in the chat. Thank you very much, Hippie, for sharing all of the links. If you're not able to see them or access them below, again, because of YouTube shenanigans, because I'm grounded. I'm in YouTube detention. So you're going to be seeing some changes on the channel in the next coming weeks and months as I try to pivot with the nonsense coming from YouTube. You know, it is what it is.
What the hell is going on around here?
That's fine. They're just trying to, what they do is they try to discourage a guy by creating, you know, having a guy feel a certain way. I get to feeling a little bit of
Emotional damage.
I'm just kidding. It's fine. It's totally fine. So I'm getting ready to wind this thing down here. We're at just over the 2-hour mark. Stuff Beagle is live for his show. So if any of you are heading over there, thank you very much for joining me. Before I go, I like to leave things on a little bit of a, you know, high note, a few laughs. We like to have fun around here, you know what I'm saying? So first of all, congratulations once again to the Olympic men's hockey team for the, you know, the gold medal hockey thing. You can stop rubbing my nose in it now, people. You could stop sending me the memes of all the American bald eagles drinking the tears of the Canadian goose, holding hockey sticks or whatever. All right, it's enough now, okay? It's enough. Because you know that Olympic hockey isn't real hockey anyways, right? Just so you know, this is real hockey. Yep, just a couple of buddies in a frozen pond, -20. Skates, a toque, a stick, and jeans. That's how we do it. Dun 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 ba 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 ba. It's just, it is what it is. Oh, by the way, if you do want to send me some memes or some videos, I'm going to be putting up a video very shortly here on an old recipe. An old world recipe for gumbo that my great grandma used to make. Then my great grandma made. Then my grandma made it. My daddy made it, and now I make it. So it's a super old recipe. It's an Acadian recipe, and as you know, Acadians are French Canadian maritimers from the East Coast here in Canada that were kicked out of Canada. Get out of here, Frenchies. A couple of 100 years ago, eventually ended up settling in a bunch of places in the U.S., most notably, of course, Nolens, Louisiana. Hence, Acadian becomes Cajun. Acajians are Cajuns, eh? So it's a Cajun/Acadian recipe. But yeah, if you have any cooking tips or recipes you want to send my way, yeah, like stuff like this even. It's great. You got to be passionate about what you're cooking. It's all about the passion. You got to have a passion for the delicious food. Okay. I'll leave you with one more and then it's time to go. This one's just a random. I just thought it was hilarious. So I'm like, I'm going to share this with the good people on Sunday. Here it is. Random nonsense. There you go. So, as per usual, if you haven't already, please do all the things. Hit the bell so you don't get notified. You'll have to just occasionally visit the channel every Wednesday, Friday, and of course Sunday for the boots on the ground, the vintage footage, the live show. Other projects are coming up in the works that are going to be a sort of a long form video. So I'm not sure what days I'll put those up. I don't know if those will be a Friday. Maybe I'll throw them up on a different day. And of course, as we move through winter and approach spring very quickly and move into summer, the director's cut of Reset 1700 Mudflood documentary Redux, as well as a bunch of other projects, including Knuckleheads, episode 19, Fredericton, coming up in a couple of weeks here as well. Oh, there you go. Just in time. Wouldn't be a New West Reset live show without some sirens going off in the background. Shenanigans out my window. So I guess that's as good as time as any. So that's going to seal the deal here for Frankie. New West Reset and New West Reset Live, the Austrian Pedestrian Oblivion. Episode 160 here. Again, links below and in the chat, in the box. If you're watching this after the live, appreciate it. Thank you to everybody in the chat. Have yourself a great rest of your weekend and your great week. We'll see you Wednesday, vintage footage. Friday for some boots on the ground. And back here next week for the live one. All right. Take care, everyone. Thanks a lot. Take care. Cheers. Bye.
It's a mystery. It's a mystery wrapped in a riddle inside an enigma.